Hey, everyone. Welcome back to ThreadTalk podcast. I'm your host, Teresa. We haven't said our names in a while. What were you going to say?
Episode 75.
It's like 75 is a milestone number,
Right?
I feel.
It's like 3/4 of a century.
Wow, yeah.
What?
Of a century, yeah, I guess.
Doesn't a century mean 100? Or does a century only mean 100 years?
Century is 100 years.
Not just 100?
No.
Damn.
That would be 100 means 100.
Damn.
I'm your host, Teresa.
My name's Denver. My name's Jeff.
If you're new here, that is us. Welcome.
That's a solid intro. Solid intro. I've got
Wait, what are we talking about today?
11 neighbor drama stories.
I'm excited for this episode. We've had this title in our Google Doc for a while.
Been wanting to do this one for a while.
And I was like, let's just do it. Like, I feel like Neighbours.
Finally, I get
lots of fun.
Teresa's seal of approval because if you guys have been around, you know that Teresa sets the episode themes.
Yes, I do.
I create them. Teresa shits on the names and then tells me what we're actually going to do. That's fair play of what happens, isn't it, babe?
Pretty much.
Babe. I call you babe.
Yeah.
Do you think in the future I'll be like, replace that word with wife? Isn't that right, wife?
No.
Nah.
I feel like that's
fit.
Calling me wife is kind of like, I don't know. I don't like that.
No?
It's kind of like, I don't know. I get the ick of that.
Status quo is going to say the same about babe. Nothing changes after marriage. Everything stays the same.
Yeah, I think so.
We make no adjustments.
I like babe. It works.
Sounds good with me. I like babe too.
Do we have any neighbor drama of our own?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I talked about that one time with the trash chute people.
Oh,
On a
yeah.
little rant.
Yeah. Maybe do you want to talk about it again?
Well, somebody left their garbage at the bottom of the trash chute in our condo. I didn't like that. And then they left their freaking, like an Amazon box or whatever with their unit number on it. I'm like, Ruddy.
Their name, unit number, everything.
So I put all the garbage
display
outside of their door. And then...
Because, okay, for some background, we have garbage chutes. We live on...
If you live in an apartment or a condo, you know.
Yeah. I'm not going to say which floor we live on.
25th floor.
Okay.
We're moving out soon.
If you guys know where we live,
don't
come to us.
We won't be here long enough for them to track us down.
I guess. So we have a trash chute, but it's for small items. And anything that's like big cardboard or anything that like can't fit, you're supposed to bring it down to the ground floor into the garbage room. And people just left their giant boxes or pizza boxes or Amazon boxes in the garbage chute.
It's like a little closet.
Room.
A little door opens up just big enough for a door to swing and then 2 garbage chutes.
Yeah. And then Denver was being petty
and
AF.
They put it back and they put it back. So then I printed off a piece of paper with the picture.
Oh, they made a note too, though.
They made a note that said this wasn't mine. I'm like, how am I supposed to know that the garbage bags weren't yours, but the Amazon box was?
Yeah.
So I made a note that said, stop leaving your trash. Walk it down, you lazy piece of shit.
You didn't say that. But he literally printed out he took a picture of the trash there. He printed it out and said, don't leave your trash here. Bring it down to the garbage room.
Yep.
And it was up for a few weeks, I will say, in the garbage
room. Took a while for him to take it down.
Yeah.
Other than that, neighbor drama, just our
neighbor hates us.
Yeah, direct next door neighbor. We've tried to talk and just nothing.
She literally hates us. Like, I don't know what we did.
Nothing. I think she's just an introvert.
No, it's like it's more than that. She avoids.
You rubbed her the wrong way.
I don't know.
It was
I
your
don't
fault.
know why.
Not me.
I tried to be. She's left her keys in the door before, and I've knocked on her door to like let her know, hey, your keys are in the door. And she says thank you and whatever. But then every time we see her, she just like she looks away like quickly, like she does not want to say hi.
Avoids eye contact.
I always smile at her, and I always try to be nice, and she just like, and I've just tried. I've stopped.
Maybe make her
this year. I've
uncomfortable.
stopped. Like, I'm not even gonna try. Like, what is the use? It's weird.
Yeah.
And she's like our age. I don't know. It's weird. Whatever.
Other than that, our neighbors have been pretty good. What do you classify as neighbors when you live in a condo? Is it everybody that's in your building, or is it just people on your floor? Because we were friends with one of our neighbors at one point, and then we're no longer friends with them. I sold a car to our neighbor at one point, if it's on a different floor, when I was at BMW.
Oh, yeah.
I had another guy that I sent my brother-in-law to go buy a car from, and then he had a terrible experience with him. So what do you classify as neighbor drama?
I think it's the whole building.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we see him in the elevator, neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the one guy that's nice to us. He always chats us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, super nice. All right, let's get into it.
All right.
just drumming away. Just carrying on the intro. It's no good.
Who first?
You need to get into the stories. I'll go first. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my husband that his buddy's wife needing help is not my problem? My husband and I live right next door to his friend, Tim, and his friend's wife, Jonah. I have a 4-year-old son and a week-old daughter. Tim and Jonah have a 5-year-old and a 3-day-old. My labor went a lot smoother than hers did. She ended up needing an emergency hysterectomy as she was bleeding out on the labor and delivery bed. They came home last night. Now, when they got home, Tim called my husband down to smoke a joint, and when he got back upstairs, he told me that Tim had asked him for a favor. Apparently, he was wondering if I would go over to his house periodically throughout the day while he was at work to check on his wife and do tasks for her, like cooking, cleaning, keeping her company, as she was bedridden and feeling really down and depressed from the unexpected hysterectomy and the reality of not being able to have more children. Listen, I feel for the woman. I really do. But this is not my problem. I just had a baby myself a week ago, and even cooking for us is a chore in itself because of how exhausted I am. My husband said repeatedly, "It's okay if you say no. I'm sure they would understand, but it'd be nice if you did this for them because I'm sure she could really use the company."
Oh my God.
And I know I'm being selfish, but I do not care if she could use the company, and I feel really backed into a corner and manipulated with wordplay. Quote, "It's okay if you say no, but you should just say yes." That I'm generally getting pissed off that I'm even asked of this. I asked my husband why him or his buddy would immediately think I would be available to do this, considering I just had my own baby and I'm also taking care of our 4-year-old. He said, quote, "I understand that, but you're already up and doing things, and she can't even do that because she's bedridden, so she can't even make her kid food or anything." Anyways, I told him no. I told him I had a bad taste in my mouth about them attempting to back me into a corner for a yes answer with their guilt trips, and that if she was incapable of doing anything, Tim needed to step up and either A, take time off work, or B, start meal prepping and call somebody else to come to his home to do everything else. My husband and Tim work at the same job, and they're both given 4 days off when we went into labor, so he had time to try and figure this out, but instead, he just tried pawning it off on me, thinking I would say yes. My husband said that he doesn't blame me for saying no, but my attitude on it has caused tension between him and Tim because, quote, "I'm acting heartless." Am I the asshole for not caring that Jonah needs help and for telling them it's not my problem?
I have a feeling that Jonah doesn't even know that her husband is asking this.
Right? 100%.
There's no way another woman would be asking somebody who just had a baby themselves for their help.
Like she had a baby a week ago.
She's asking her husband for help, and her husband's like, "I don't want to do it.
100%.
I don't want to do it. Let me get another woman to do it because that's what women do."
She's asking her partner for help, to take time off work to help, and he's like, get somebody else to do it.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is infuriating. Oh my God. And the husband, OP's husband.
Oh yeah.
I would lose it.
Doghouse.
No, done. Maybe not divorce, but
Trees go right to divorce.
No, but come on, you don't respect me enough to understand that first of all, actually, why is she cooking for her family? She said, "It's enough, it's more than enough that I have to cook for us." Why is she cooking? Why is she doing that? I'm sorry. She is, how many, she just gave birth?
1 week.
1 week ago. Why is she up and cooking? Where is your husband?
Right? He can't step up at all?
Oh my God. No, that alone is infuriating. And then on top of that, for him to be like, not only do you have to cook for our family and me, you have to cook for our neighbor's family. Oh my God, are you fucking delusional?
Not only did you just give birth, but you still also have a kid on top of that. It's not like it's just the baby, and then when the baby's napping or whatever,
there's a child.
You have another child that you're taking care of. So I feel like this is the attitude. Everything people think being a stay-at-home mom, you have so much time in the day. You have you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, definitely.
You have time to go help her. Bitch, I'm fucking busy over here.
He said you're already up and doing stuff. Okay, yeah, I'm doing stuff for our family.
Well, I guess compared to like her being bedridden, but like that's
Then they
not
need to
really
hire
good,
somebody or ask other family members.
right? Or
Like,
maybe
that is not on
you
me.
need some food, you need some meals, maybe you need Factor meals, maybe you need ThreadTalk 50 for your discount code on some Factor meals.
I was thinking that, like meal prep subscription.
Unless you live in like bumfuck Idaho. Sorry for all the people that live in Idaho,
Why would
but
you say that?
I feel like that's an expression. Just rings.
Is that an expression?
Bumfuck Ontario, doesn't sound as good. You know what I mean? Idaho, it sounds good, but like unless you're like live like so rural where you have like no support for like modern day things of like meal prepping or stuff like that, like come on.
Okay, well, you know what? There are many other options here.
Yeah,
Tim can take some time
I was
off
gonna
of
say,
work.
even if you don't take time off work, dude, you come home. Guess what you do? You get a meal prep. You get to cook. You get to cook a lot, and then you get a meal prep. You get to do laundry. You don't get to go smoke a joint with your buddy and just shoot the shit and just fucking chill the fuck out, bro. You play your video games or shoot darts in the garage.
Are you working 7 days a week? Probably not. And even if you are, you have time at home. You will make do. You can definitely.
You get to come home. You get to do laundry. You get to cook food. You wanted a kid. You wanted a wife. That's your responsibility. I don't care that you're the sole provider income, you work full time. Do some extra shit when you get home. Even if you work 12-hour days.
Point blank period.
Yeah. Do some extra. Figure some shit out. Do some dusting. Dust the fan. The top of the fan blades. You know? The top of the fan blades, they always get dusty. Grab the Swiffer and do some dusting. But
I don't think that's a priority, but
yeah. We'll do that after you've done the cooking and the laundry.
Oh
and clean the toilet. Then that. You have nothing else to do.
Don't bother your neighbors who just had a baby too. Like, how out of touch can you be?
Top comment. Absolutely not the asshole. You're a week postpartum. People should be bringing you meals.
Yeah.
Tell your husband and his buddy to hire a caretaker, go to a church, since my church offers services like this for people in need, or someone can take time off work. I fucking hate when people feel the need to be charitable with the resources of other people. They both get to feel great about helping her out while you, still bleeding and postpartum, get to take on other household chores.
That's crazy to me. Like,
okay, I got no sympathy, Tim. Listen up, Tim. Let's say your work schedule, 9 to 5. 5 days a week, 8 hours. You can't take time off work? Cool. No problem. Guess how many hours are in a day? 24, not 16. No, hold on. 24 minus your 8 working hours, 16. Minus an hour for your commute, 15. Minus 8 hours for your sleep. Do you really need 8? No, you only need 7. So how many are left over? 8 hours. You still got 8 hours in the day to cook, clean, and do other shit. Now let's say you worked overtime, put in an extra 4 hours that day. You got 4 hours. Let's say you get your 8 hours sleep. You got 3 hours from when you get home to cook dinner, to make meal preps, to do the laundry. You got 3 extra hours. You got kids. That's what you signed up for. You don't get to go smoke a joint with your neighbor for half an hour when you could be fucking cooking, bud. And then what do you do?
Really came out there.
Well, what are you doing after you smoke that joint? You think you're going to go do your chores? No, you're going to laze around. You're going to fucking
No, exactly.
You're going to need a wambulance for your hard life. So, buck up.
We just watched the Modern Family episode with
Wambulance.
Can I call you a wambulance?
That was a funny episode.
All right.
Over to you.
Let's move on from this triggering one.
What's triggering?
HOA freaks out over black SUVs at birthday party. This is an email I received from an HOA. The people in the SUV were regular people who were my friends. This is just weird. Am I supposed to tell these people to rent a Prius the next time around? FYI, this was a very tame party. No loud music, about 6 vehicles in the driveway and 2 on the street, and everyone parked in a decent manner. Here is the email. Dear OP, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to reach out regarding an incident that occurred over the weekend during your birthday party. A few of us in the community couldn't help but notice the arrival of 3 blacked out SUVs, which, quite frankly, startled and unsettled several of your neighbors. It's really concerning to see such vehicles showing up in our otherwise peaceful, family-oriented neighborhood, especially without any prior notice. As you can imagine, the sight of them raised a lot of questions and caused quite a bit of anxiety. Some residents even thought something more serious was happening. The whole situation was quite honestly alarming, and we had no idea how to react. We all understand celebrating special occasions, but in the future, we would appreciate if you could let us know in advance of any unusual activity. It would certainly help ease the collective nerves of your neighbors, who were left feeling quite uncomfortable by the presence of those vehicles. Please let us know if there's anything you can do to avoid similar concerns going forward. We trust you'll be considerate of the community's feelings moving forward. Best regards, HOA Vice President.
What the fuck? Bro, this is like HOA nightmares. Like, we don't have HOAs in Canada, I don't think.
I don't know.
I feel like this is an American thing. It's like the homeowners association for like the neighborhood. Like, your fence can only be so high. You can't have these kinds of shrubs. Like, this sounds like a nightmare. Like, I'm sorry my friends have black SUVs. What do they think Taylor Swift is pulling up?
I was thinking that.
Or the president?
Okay, no, but honestly, I would be excited if I saw like 3 black SUVs. Like, my mind just goes to like November 2024 when she was at the Rogers Center in Toronto.
Yeah.
Like, my eyes were peeled for black SUVs looking for
5 black SUVs in a row coming down the highway.
Yeah,
That's Taylor.
I would be excited. I would be like, oh my God, who's here? Like, why would you be scared? What makes you what is nerve-wracking about that?
I think in some of the movies they portray like gangsters and stuff in like the blacked out SUVs. Yeah, like they make the Escalades like black. I don't know, but like, I'm sorry, my friends and family have black SUVs.
Like,
Madison's ordering a black Lincoln Aviator.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell her, oh, she can't get black anymore. It's bad. You're gonna look deadly.
Deadly. People will be scared.
Like, yeah, like, but like, I'm sorry, we can't control the cars that people drive. That's a big coincidence.
It's just like, can you picture somebody like sitting down and typing this out and being like, yeah, this sounds right. This is good.
3 out of 6 cars are black SUVs. Oh, I just want to know, like, how coordinated is the family? Like, did one person go and buy like a Chevy Tahoe or like an Escalade, and they're like, guys, this is the best car ever. You got to check it out. You got to drive one. And then Aunt Susan, she steps inside, takes for a test drive. She's like, oh man, this is really nice. TV in the back is great for my 3 kids. Like, I'm gonna get one too. And then Uncle Bob is just like, damn, 2 people got these. There must be something hot about these. I'm gonna check one out. And then they got a good deal at the same dealership. Now everybody's laughing about how they're all driving the same vehicle and they're just rolling. Or is it like there's like one black Ford Escape, black BMW X3, then a black Chevy Tahoe, and they're all like,
are they just black cars?
They're just black SUVs and they're misshaped
with some tint.
I could maybe understand a slight bit of like curiosity, kind of like if they're all 3 the exact same. 3 Chevy Tahoes, 3 Chevy Escalades or whatever, and then you're like, what the fuck is going on over there? You know what I mean? It's, that's a little odd.
But if they're just, my mind would go to celebrity.
Well, all right, well, these guys obviously went to like a dark movie. Yeah. But like, is it enough to type out an email?
Like, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not even if like a freaking helicopter landed on someone's
on top of the house? Front lawn?
Like, that is none of your business.
I don't know. I've got to say, if I'm the HOA and a helicopter lands on my neighbor's yard,
Fine.
That's warrants an email. Hey, can you have your pilot not land on your front yard next time, please? That was a lot of noise, and I'm kind of afraid they're going to go into my house. So could you please keep your helicopter not landing in your yard?
Honestly, I'm one of those people that just like, I don't want to
rock the boat.
I don't want to cause any waves. I mind my own business. Whatever my neighbors are doing, none of my fucking business. Are they coming and like making a lot of noise? Are they affecting my life at all? No. You need to mind your own business.
It's okay. We're not going to have neighbors soon.
Yeah, we're going to have the wilderness. We're going to have some bears.
No, we're going to have neighbors. We're going to have campsite neighbors.
Yeah.
Our neighbors will never be the same. Our neighbors are going to be on a constant rotation.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call that neighbors. Those are just like when you go to a hotel, you don't call the person beside you a neighbor.
I think you're going to find it's a little bit different in RV life. Everybody loves to chat with each other. Like, hey, neighbor. You're a campsite neighbor.
My social
How's it going? Where are you from? From Canada?
All right. Some of the top comments say, okay, here's what you do. Get more friends. Get everyone to dress in suits except one guy, maybe 2. Load them into the SUVs. Drive to the community like before. Everyone who looks the same quickly exits the vehicles. They look around, point at things. The ones that are different get out after and walk to the door. After they are in the home, everyone else quickly rushes into the home.
Yes, do this, but make it like then they come in hot. They come into the neighborhood full speed limit, and then they hit their brakes at the last moment. So there's loud squeals and like squawk, and they all stop at the same time. They get out, and then
Everybody was wearing black like sunglasses. Like earpiece. Move.
And then whoever you think wrote the letter will have a few security guards like point at their windows. Secure this way.
All right. There's a mini update. The HOA found this post. I'm just going home now, and we'll post the updated email follow-up they sent me. I think they got the message. So far, 4,000 plus people commented.
Damn. I feel like the reply email is going to be like, don't you dare post about us.
Yeah. Okay, update comes 10 hours later. Here is the email transcription. Dear OP, I'm reaching out after one of our HOA members brought to my attention the Reddit post about the email I sent regarding your birthday party. After reviewing the post and seeing the overwhelming response, I can completely understand why my original message was seen as alarmist, demeaning, and even offensive. I want to publicly apologize to you and anyone who felt the same. That was never the intention, and I deeply regret how the email was worded. The feedback highlighting how my email was seen as inappropriate and offensive is completely understandable, and I sincerely apologize for that. Our community strives to be inclusive and welcoming, and I recognize that my message did not reflect those values. I also ask, in the interest of privacy, that you kindly refrain from revealing any personal information about our HOA members in your Reddit post, as that could lead to significant privacy issues for individuals in our community. We want to handle the situation responsibly and avoid any further complications. Moving forward, we are committed to fostering a respectful and inclusive neighborhood, and I appreciate your understanding as we work to make this right. Best regards, HOA. OP says, my response to the HOA. It's hard to believe you'd be this cooperative and apologetic without the 6,000 Redditors who weighed in. Let this serve as a clear message to you and any other HOA leaders to stop with the nonsense. If even 1 out of 100th of the people commenting here knew who you insufferable folks are, they troll you endlessly and make your so-called inclusive and welcoming neighborhoods a nightmare. Sincerely, a friend of the black SUV owners.
God damn. Like, okay, in the email, it says, I deeply regret how the email was worded.
Yes.
So, like, I'm confused. Are you deeply regretting what you said or the way that you said
exactly.
it? Because you said, like...
It's not the wording, bro.
I deeply regret how the email was worded, the feedback was highlighted, but then you never really said, this is what we meant place. Or whatever. Your email is like, it should have been, I should have never sent this email. Not, it was worded wrong.
Yeah. They were saying, like, it...
I
still meant to say it. I still meant to intrude into your lives and control what kind of cars you drive, but it came out wrong.
Yeah.
Like, the message was still supposed to come across, which is the issue.
No good.
Crazy.
All right, back to me. This one's coming from r/marriage. Title is My Naked Neighbor. Tell my wife? ? My wife and I are both in our 30s and live in a townhome with 5 units. We all share a common patio and backyard surrounded by a tall fence. There's a 25 to 30-year-old-ish woman who lives in one of the units who sunbathes on the patio some weekends. We get along well enough as neighbors. A wave here and there. She's also been over for drinks and snacks once before. I've seen her once before without a top on, but lying face down on a towel while tanning. Nothing serious. But on Friday, as I was leaving my house through the patio and she was outside again, this time she was completely naked, face up on the towel, spread eagle. I saw everything. I looked away as fast as I could, but it took a few seconds as it was a shock to walk out to. She didn't seem upset or sat up. I apologized for surprising her, and she brushed it off and said no worries. We both said have a nice weekend, and I went on. I didn't tell my wife, though. I don't know. I panicked as I was leaving and lost the time to tell her due to schedules. And now it's been 72 hours, and I feel like I should tell her I saw another woman naked in our yard. This is a wacky situation I feel I'm in. What do you do? I know communication is the answer, but I've never really accidentally seen another woman completely nude except my wife, especially not one who is nude living next door.
I feel like this isn't something that you like have to tell your wife, like you're lying. I don't think it's like he's keeping it from her because he liked it. Like I think
Mm.
it's just like, okay, it kind of slipped his mind and now he's like spiraling. He's like, oh, I feel like I'm lying to her. I feel like this is just something that like comes up. Like if it happened to me and I saw like a man's dick out in like the pool area, I would be like texting you right away. I'd be like, oh my God, like
Okay.
you wouldn't guess.
Yeah, but right. But then like you forget and then you remember 3 days later and you're like, shit, I haven't said it.
Then I would just say it. I don't think you would be like accusing me of keeping it a secret. I think that's what he's worried about. Like, oh my God, it's been 3 days. She's gonna think something of it. I don't know. But I don't think you would. If I was like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot when I went to the pool 3 days ago, I saw this man's dick. You would be like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be like, well, did you enjoy it?
No. But I think if I was like, oh, hey, I forgot to tell you 3 days ago, I saw her near naked. And you'd be like, why did you take 3 days to tell me? Were you hiding this from me? Why did it take you so long?
No, okay. I wouldn't be like, were you hiding this from me? I would just be like, well, I feel like I would have told you right away.
I feel like you'd be accusing me.
But that's not really about
why I didn't tell you right away.
Seeing someone naked. That would just be like anything juicy.
Oh,
I want to know right away.
Oh, I know.
Like it's not because of like a jealousy thing. It's more just like when anything interesting happens to me, I want to share it with you. So when you don't and you do it 3 days later, I'm like, what the hell?
Why you waiting? Why you gatekeeping the secrets?
Yeah.
Why you gatekeeping the tea?
Yeah, exactly.
So the top comment, I just tell your wife, you've done nothing wrong here.
Yeah.
And somebody replies that and says, no, he hasn't, but the neighbor lady needs to knock it off. Shared areas shouldn't be used while naked. My husband and I both regularly use our pool naked, but no one can see us, not even accidentally. His wife needs to know about this now, or in 6 months, she will be posting here asking whether or not he thinks he's having an affair with the neighbor lady.
I think that's a stretch.
I do agree that maybe she shouldn't be naked in a common area.
Not in a common area, no. But I will say,
eagle, just blah.
I will say, when we lived in the townhouse with Kat,
Yeah.
like we would tan naked, not fully naked, like we would wear bottoms, but like we would tan topless.
But that wasn't a common area. That was your rooftop patio.
No, but it was rooftop, but like people could see us for sure. There was the condo right beside us.
Right, but this is like you have an outdoor pool area in your condo.
No, I totally agree.
And you're down there sunbathing naked. You know where you go to tan? Outside of our pool area? That's like being naked there.
No, I agree. That's really weird.
Why are you naked there?
Yeah.
This isn't a nudist community.
Yeah.
So OP has an update or an edit and says, I told my wife what happened and she didn't care. I told her the details of me walking outside and seeing my neighbor fully nude and how I'm embarrassed it took me 3 days to say anything. Honestly, my wife seemed excited that I got to look at boobs and a vagina that wasn't hers. She was laughing a lot about the situation and even joked I should go back out to move the car again so I could get another look next time. I love my wife dearly and I don't think my neighbor is trying to get seen, but she obviously doesn't care if she's caught either.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
But still, I feel like it's not appropriate.
No, I agree. I don't think it's appropriate. Especially like, I don't know, if there's kids in like a common area.
What if somebody's like walking their kids to school?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
You think everybody in there doesn't have kids? Like, come on.
Yeah.
That now you're just like publicly exposing yourself. I think that's against the law.
I think it is too. That's what I was thinking.
That's public indecency.
Yeah.
You're in a common area. You're not in a private residence.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not private
I think
property.
if it was just boobs, that's different.
It's still, it depends on, well, it would depend on the
where you live. Oh yeah, we've already determined Ontario, it's legal.
It's legal to be topless in Ontario.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you live.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Back to you.
All right. Am I the asshole for calling police on a neighbor after she keyed my car because of books I write? I'm a single woman in my early 30s, making my living writing and self-publishing adult fiction. By adult fiction, I mean adult fiction, with majority of the plot being steamy. I don't typically tell people what I write, but I do tell them I write books for a living under a pen name. And if you're questioning my writing abilities, I have an editor to correct my mistakes. I am not hiding it per se, but I'm not telling everyone I meet what I do for a living, and none of my neighbors knew, only a bunch of friends. I live in a house alone. Pretty much all of my neighbors are either young families or retired couples. My next door neighbor is a young couple. We've been polite to each other, but haven't been close or anything. Lately, the husband, let's call him Roger, became very friendly towards me, which I tried to ignore, but he's been getting too flirty for my liking, and I started avoiding him. They had a barbecue over the bank holiday weekend, and I was taking rubbish out to put in my bin. Roger looked at me, waved hi, and whispered something to his friend, and they both watched me very carefully, which was incredibly creepy. On my way through my garden, I saw Roger's wife, Dahlia, leaving the house with her friend, and they both looked at me with disgust and whispered something to each other. It was weird, and I hurried back inside. The next morning, I found some religious leaflets put through my letterbox. They were just printed on normal printer paper and were warning about lustful behavior leading to hell, etc. Threw them away, but kept finding similar leaflets put through my letterbox for the next week. Since I am working from home, I decided to see who's leaving those leaflets, and to my surprise, it was Dahlia. I decided to confront her and ask her to stop putting religious leaflets through my door. Despite me being polite, she was not happy. She told me that I should rethink my life because what I write is disgusting. It's pretty vanilla. And she found her husband reading it at night, and you can imagine doing what. She kept going on and on, how I am going to burn in hell, how I have no morals, etc. Well, I told her to stay away from me and discuss this with her husband, and I closed the door in her face. Don't know who, but someone told them what I do for a living. A day later, I found the word slut painted on my door. A few days later, I caught her keying my car. She was almost done with the word whore. Well, I called the police on her, and since I installed cameras after the slut incident, she is being taken to court over keying my car. I talked to my other neighbor about it because she asked about the police, and she told me that I went overboard, that Dahlia was clearly insecure, but she's a lovely woman and a great mother, and I should have talked to her instead of calling the police and give her a chance to change her behavior. Am I the asshole for calling the police and not giving Dahlia a chance?
Oh, fuck off. You did. You talked to her.
You did.
You said, stop leaving leaflets in my mailbox. And then she escalated. I'm calling the police.
Just because, okay, like this excuse is like, oh, she's a mother, she's a good woman. That's like, okay.
No, you're not.
If a murderer is a brother, a good man.
Or just a mother.
A mother, anybody. Like, okay, you're gonna excuse his behavior because he's good in one aspect of his life and not another.
Right?
What a shit excuse.
You harassed me, you destroyed my property, and then you keyed my car. So
why would you be delusional not to think that I would call the police on you?
Yeah, and then I'd ask the neighbor, I'd be like, do you want to pay for all of the damages?
Yeah, exactly.
And tell you what, you go talk to her and you make sure she doesn't do it again. Or
you have to be freaking crazy
to not do anything.
No, to key a car.
Oh, yeah.
Because of a book she wrote, because you're so insecure that your husband is reading it.
Right? And how'd they even find out?
Let's get to the root of the problem here.
How'd they even find out?
Yeah.
Like, she writes them under an anonymous name.
Yeah.
So how did she even find out?
Yeah, right? Top comment. Not the asshole. When people harass you and commit crimes against you, you call the police. Absolute zero shades of gray in that.
It's a pun.
Oh, and then there's an edit. Genuinely didn't realize the pun in this until everyone mentioned it. I was going to leave that edit out.
No, that's a good part.
That's funny. Shades of gray.
Bro, this neighbor's psycho.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy don't have any neighbor drama like that.
All right. Back to you.
Okay. This one's coming from relationship advice. Neighbor keeps showing up unannounced to my house. I, 24 male, recently moved into a new house in a small gated community over the summer. This is the first time I've lived in a house since I was little. When I moved in, I received a lot of welcome gifts from the neighbors since it is a very tight-knit community. This is how I met most of my neighbors, including Dana, 40 female, and her husband. Dana is my next door neighbor. The first time we met, Dana came to my front door with her husband and 3 sons to introduce themselves. They brought me homemade cookies as a welcome gift. Her sons were really into dirt bikes and saw mine in the garage as I was moving in. I told them they could come over and check them out anytime they wanted, as I was being nice. Dana never really said anything or gave out any red flags. The next week, I was at work and got a motion notification from one of my cameras. It was a video of Dana by herself looking into a window on the side of the house. I maybe thought she was checking to see if I was home and didn't think much of it. Then I get a text from her later that day asking me when I'd be home since her sons wanted to come over and check out my bikes. I replied that I would be working late, and she responded that she would let her sons know. Nothing ever really happened for a few weeks. The second event was a Saturday night. She knocked on my front door and asked if I would like to come over for dinner. I didn't really have much going on, so I said sure. I go over to the house and I'm expecting her family to be there. Nope, it was just her. She said that her family was visiting a family member. I didn't want to be rude, so I ended up staying. Dana is a big talker, so I barely got a word in that night. It felt strange, but it was just a conversation. I saw her husband, Chris, a few days later while checking the mail, and he asked me if I enjoyed Dana's cooking. I responded it was great, and I wish he could have made it, so I guess he knew about us having dinner and was fine with it. The third event was a few days ago. My camera caught Dana walking into my backyard by herself, looking into my shed. I confronted her on the phone, and she said that she was just looking for a shovel. I informed her that my tools are in the garage and made sure to let her know I can see everything on my cameras. She apologized for not asking me before coming over. She later that day sent me a picture of my boat in the driveway, asking if I could take her out in it. I left her on red.
Red.
I left her on read. The latest event happened last night. I had my somewhat new girlfriend over at the house. We were grilling in the backyard, having a good time, when all of a sudden Dana showed up with her boys and literally self-invited her family to dinner. It was extremely awkward for everyone. I tried telling them that I didn't have enough for everyone. Dana claimed that her family wasn't that hungry. Dana didn't leave until my girlfriend left. I'm extremely confused if Dana is into me or just has no social awareness. The only thing at this point keeping me straight up confronting her is that we are neighbors and have to live next to each other. Her husband has been nice and didn't give off any strange vibes. What do I tell her to leave me alone? Do I need to wait for her to do something again? Please help.
Ooh, this is my worst nightmare. Having to confront somebody.
Intrusive neighbors.
Yeah, and like just knowing the fact that you have to say something, otherwise like you're gonna go crazy. And if you do say something, like it's gonna be awkward going forward.
Right?
This is a lose-lose situation.
What does he do?
Like my first thought.
What does he tell her to get her to leave him alone?
My first thought was like, I don't know, act crazy.
Act crazy. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
like,
creative.
I don't know why that popped into my head, but like, I don't know. Maybe you could start doing some weird fucking shit.
Like when she comes over for dinner, just start burping obnoxiously and farting.
Yeah, give her the ick.
And farting.
Give her the ick. Like, stop being so polite. Just do weird stuff. I don't know. Like,
walk out in your tidy whities.
I was gonna say mow the lawn
in your
underwear. Do something like that. Like, but maybe she'll like it. I don't know.
Maybe she's attracted to him.
Yeah, but it's weird though because like her husband knows. If the husband didn't know, I would say 100% she's into you.
Well, maybe husband knows that she was over for dinner. Doesn't know that she was trying to fuck him.
But he's not suspicious of that. Like that is that normal? I don't know. They had a date, basically.
Basically, it was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you could just try to scare her off.
How?
Yeah, do the tidy whities thing. Let me see if I can get more creative with my thoughts.
I'll give you a second there. Top comment says, "This woman thinks she owns your house. I hate neighbors like this." And then someone replies and says, "OP said she's the HOA president. OP is so fucked."
Oh. Damn. That kind of changes things.
Mm-hmm.
So what do HOAs actually do? Like, do they have control over what you can do and not do in your home?
Oh,
like,
I have no idea. I feel like just fines and the way that you decorate it and stuff. Second top comment says, "Get blinds for your windows and keep them shut." motion sensor lights, no trespassing signs, get a security system, just call the cops. Going into your property, looking for a shovel is just testing the waters. Give her an inch and she'll take a mile and your life will be misery. Better she hates you than she steals from you. And OP replies and says, I have blinds on the house. In the video, it looked like she was trying to find a window that was open. When I first was moving in, I left my garage open and went to lunch. A box of my clothes labeled clothes was missing. At the time, I thought maybe I lost it in the moving process, but now I think she had something to do with it.
That's fucking weird.
OP also comments and says, I asked 2 different neighbors about her, and they both said Dana was an awesome neighbor to have.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's giving stalker.
Maybe she just got a big crush. Big old crush.
Yeah, possibly. I did look up what a HOA actually is.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably good to know. A homeowners association is an organization in a subdivision, planned community, or condominium building that makes and enforces rules for the properties and residents. Homeowners associations are run by a board of directors and typically collect monthly or annual fees to pay for common area maintenance and the upkeep of facilities. Those who purchase property within an HOA's jurisdiction automatically become members. Some associations can be very restrictive about what members can do with their properties. Others give residents more freedom. So basically, they do control you.
That could be a nightmare.
So
Don't want to piss off the president.
I was thinking, like, I don't know, like doing something like color your lawn pink or something. I don't know.
That's against HOA regulation.
Yeah, I guess.
He needs to get rid of her without making his life hell. So help him.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, invite her over for one more time. And you know what?
But if you invite her over, wouldn't that just be more encouraging?
No.
Adding wood to the fire?
Invite her over with, like, your girlfriend. And then do some, like...
heavy makeout in front of her with your girlfriend?
Yeah, do some, like, BDSM shit.
What if she wants in on that?
Fuck. I don't know then. Like...
I'm taking the burping and the farting approach.
You think that's enough? I don't think that's enough.
Just keep farting around her and making her smell it. And then when you fart, like, oh yeah, this is a good one. Had some beans earlier today. Just be obnoxious about it.
Yeah, just be icky.
Be icky. Never put on deodorant. Sweat it up before she comes over.
Changes his whole lifestyle for this.
So there's an update. I would like to thank everyone for their advice. Turns out that people who said she was into me were right. Dana texted me last Thursday letting me know that her family were going out of town for the weekend. She said that she would be lonely and wanted to know if I'd keep her company. She said something like, quote, she's grateful to have such a young and strong man in her life, referring to me. I'm 90% sure that means she's into me. I politely declined by telling her that I would be with my girlfriend. Friday night, I'm chilling with my girlfriend at home and Dana knocks on the door. I'm so thankful for my girlfriend because she let Dana have it. We didn't hear anything from Dana the entire weekend. I guess now Dana is mad because she issued an HOA violation for my trash can being in the wrong place. I had a conversation with one of the neighbors who let me know that Dana and her husband are apparently in an open relationship because her husband is bi. Anyways, not really my problem. I'll just deal with them as my neighbors. Ever since my girlfriend had that talk with her, she hasn't been on my property.
Damn.
Thanks again for the help.
Jeez. Okay. Well, I did have another solution in my head that just popped up.
Yeah?
You should have invited her over.
Okay.
And did like a seance.
What's that?
Like some witchy stuff. Like summon the dead.
Ooh.
Like scare the shit out of her.
What if she believes in that stuff?
Okay, I'm done. I can't. Then you try something else. I don't know. Ask ChatGPT to give you some creative
We need a
ideas.
foolproof plan. I'm sticking to my burping and farting.
I just don't think it's enough. Well, seems like she's going to stay away at this point. But it seems like she's going to probably make your life hell.
Yeah. HOA violations are coming up the wazoo for you, bud.
Really shit.
Should have just gave her what she wants.
Yeah. The D.
All right, back to you.
Okay. I'm not going to read the title of this one.
Okay.
I've been away since Thursday, house sitting for my mom, and it's currently Sunday afternoon where I live. Here, mail doesn't deliver on weekends. They only do that Monday to Friday, which means I had 2 days worth of mail in my mailbox. My 30-something-year-old neighbors moved in on Friday when I wasn't here, and she was in her front yard when I was collecting my mail. She goes, "Don't check your mailbox on weekends. They don't deliver on weekends, so don't check it." In a rude Karen voice. If you know, then you know. Already, I know we're not going to have a good neighbor relationship, and I'm hungover and can't be bothered dealing with her shit. So I said, quote, "I know, it's just I've been kidnapped in the basement for a week, so I had to check the mailbox." I don't have a basement. Barely anyone here does in my country. She seemed shocked, but it was an obvious joke with my overly sarcastic tone. Then we both went inside, and that was that. About 25 minutes later, the police knocked on my door thinking I was held captive in my basement, which I don't have. So I explained to them what I had said, and they just laughed and left. Just before, I was putting rubbish in the bin, and she came out and called me a "see you next Thursday" for making her think I was just kidnapped. Am I the asshole?
That's a good, funny prank. Like, fuck off, Karen. Check my mail when I want to check my mail.
It's like, no, you don't know my life. I could have been trapped in my basement.
But I was fine with that.
Yeah.
Could have been some BDSM stuff.
Maybe it was some kinky shit. Like,
maybe I paid someone to kidnap me for a week.
Like, mind your own business. Why does it matter
Right?
when I check my mail? What is it to you?
Exactly.
People just like are so bored with their own lives.
Got to get up and in your drama.
They need to start some drama of their own.
And make
You
some
should
drama.
come over and listen to ThreadTalk. That'll give you your weekly dose
Exactly.
of drama.
Exactly.
That's why we do this.
Exactly.
So you don't have to be a piece of shit in real life.
Recommend the podcast to them, please. Recommend the podcast to them, your friends, your family, your babies.
Babies?
I don't know.
What the hell? This isn't really appropriate for babies. I wouldn't even say
That's
this is
true.
appropriate for kids.
Don't recommend it to your babies or your kids. Just your friends and family
18
and your
plus,
neighbors.
18, especially the neighbors.
Definitely go to the neighbors. If you know what you do, if you're having neighbor issues, you
right into it.
You share this episode with them.
Right into
Send
it.
them the link.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this could teach you some boundaries. Okay, so this one comes from r/apartment living. My downstairs neighbor is texting me every time I walk into the apartment. What do I do? I'm a small woman and I never have parties. And then the rest of the post is the text bubble. So the neighbor says, "Good morning. Just wondering if you were up and walking around. Trying to confirm it's not another apartment. Did you just open the slider?"
Oh my God.
Opie replies and says, "Yes. That's weird that you could hear me walking around because I was wearing slippers." "Well, I guess that's the way it is. Thanks for being cognizant." Blushy smiley face. "No problem. Unfortunately, it seems like the construction isn't soundproof here." Smiley face with the sweating teardrop. "Nope, not so much." And then a few days later. "Hello. I haven't heard too much lately, but it's been pretty loud tonight. Do you have any guests? This is an awkward situation. I just don't want to be that neighbor.
Oh.
Just want to ask kindly to try to walk lightly. Thanks." "Hi. I hope you're having a nice Saturday. Unfortunately, I think this building has thin floors. I hear my upstairs neighbors walking every day too. And in my experience, this has been the case with every apartment I've lived in. In the year before you moved in, I never received complaints from the tenants living in your unit. Since you first contacted me about this, I have tried to do everything I can to not disturb you. E.g., I shuffle instead of walking in the mornings, I don't wear shoes in the house, etc. However, I can't promise you won't hear me walking in my apartment. Perhaps a white noise machine would help with normal apartment living noises."
Period.
Like, how do you just deal with that neighbor?
I want to know his response.
I would just be like, you should move. It's an
Yeah.
apartment building. I'm going to walk
Buddy,
how I want to walk.
go buy a house.
I'm not doing jumping squats up here.
And even if she was, she can do that
I'm just
in
walking
her own
around.
apartment. Like,
Yep.
I think, I don't know. We know we don't have issues, luckily.
Well,
In our condo?
our apartment's made out of concrete, so that's why we don't hear our neighbors.
Why? What are the other apartments made out of?
Wood
Oh.
floors, and then they'll usually build them as cheap as possible, so they're not very thick. They don't have insulation in between the floors, so there's nothing blocking the sound, so the sound travels pretty well.
Oh.
We have like foot thick concrete dividing us from every direction.
Well, I just think, I don't know, you can't expect other people to change their life. She literally listed so many things that she has done to accommodate you. You cannot expect her to do anything more than this. You shouldn't even be expecting this from her.
I wouldn't even be doing those.
No, exactly. Like, I would still be living my life. Like, walking around, you have to shuffle instead of walk.
Like,
what do you mean?
I did live in an apartment one time where we were the upstairs and there was a downstairs tenant. The house was split in Newmarket. And like, you could hear them sometimes if their music was like, they were blasting it on like a Friday night.
Music,
we would
I
have
feel
to
like
ask them to like turn their music down.
Yeah.
But general like walking and stuff.
Walking?
Maybe they heard us. I don't know. But I didn't really hear them below me.
Like, I don't get some earplugs. Get a white noise machine like she suggested.
Play some music all the time.
You cannot expect other people to not walk.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that neighbor. You are.
You are that neighbor.
You are that neighbor.
Yeah, I love how you say I don't want to be that neighbor, but you are. So top comment, please stop responding. And then someone says, block them. And then OP replies and says, I'd like to know if they're coming up to murder me, LOL.
Yeah, they're just going to text you and be like, hey, I'm coming to murder you.
And someone says, they aren't going to tell you first if they are. And then OP replies and says, true. Good thing the whole building would hear it, apparently.
You would have signs. You would know.
Next person comments and says, hi, I was just wondering if you were pooping. I heard some paper wiping on an ass. And I just wanted to make sure that wasn't another neighbor.
That's good. I heard some paper wiping on an ass.
Are you sure 4 swipes is enough? Sounds messy.
Oh my God.
Oh,
A side note to that. This is gonna be TMI, but baby wipes have changed my life. Changed my life. I think we've talked about it a while ago, like about wiping.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I said that I'm gonna get baby wipes.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, I've been doing it for a few months now, and I will never go back. I brought them to New York with me because I was like, I can't go without them, even if it's 3 days.
I don't know how well the RV septic system would handle baby wipes, babe.
No, I don't flush them.
Oh, okay.
Put them in the garbage.
You've been putting them in our garbage?
Yeah.
That's gross.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do, though? You know, I was talking about this with my work,
hold on.
with my coworkers, and they were like, that's gross. So you put it in the garbage.
It is gross.
But where else is it supposed to go? Because they say that they're non-flushable.
Okay, sure.
It's like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
You put diapers in the
a regular garbage can? When you change Andrew at Mass, it just goes into a regular garbage can?
What's the difference? It goes in a garbage bag.
It goes in a sealed one because it's shit. It seals it.
Okay, well, it's not enough. It's not like a significant amount of shit that you can like. Have you been able to smell anything?
No, but now I'm grossed out because you never empty.
You knew I went I put in the garbage.
No, I thought you flushed them.
No.
Yes. Babe, you never empty that garbage can. You let it stuff up to the top. I'm the one who replaces that garbage can.
Well, I thought you knew.
I'm utterly disgusted right now. I would be okay if like, oh, it's getting close to the top. If you like changed it out more often, knowing that your fucking feces are in there, I think I'd be okay. But now that I know that you put your ass white feces into our side garbage can beside our toilet, and then you just let it get stuffed to the brim, you'll wait 3 weeks before it gets changed. I'm a little grossed out now. I think you should be changing that out weekly, regardless of...
Okay, I can do that.
Please do. Regardless of how full it is. You should be changing that out like weekly.
Okay. I can do that.
I'm having a hard time looking at you the same way.
Don't look at me then.
We're calling... I don't know if I want to go through this wedding situation anymore.
Your call.
I'm grossed out. That's gross.
Sorry to bring that up.
Yeah, I don't know why you had to bring that up.
Seriously though, what do people do if you're not supposed to flush it?
They change their garbages more often.
That's fine. I can do that.
I just have an issue because now all I can think about is the garbage being full and you putting another one there and then that touching the lid of the garbage. The lid of the garbage can doesn't get replaced.
I fold it.
Oh, that makes it all the better.
It does. It's not touching the lid.
And I close the toilet lid when I flush.
Me too.
And that means that there's no possible feces on my cell phone.
It's not spraying. The garbage isn't spraying anything.
I'm pretty sure if we did that like test of like the things moving in the dark.
Are you licking the top of the garbage can? Like, what is the issue? Tell me, what is the issue? Are you even touching it? No.
I clean it so I touch it then.
Okay, wear gloves. And do you clean the toilet?
Yeah, I'm the only one who cleans the toilet.
Exactly. Okay, so you don't have issues cleaning the toilet. So I'm not seeing where the issue is here.
The issue is that it sits for so long because you don't empty the garbage can.
You moved on to another issue and you said that it's touching the top of the lid.
Yeah.
Which is not a non-issue.
No, I don't clean that part. I clean the outer part of the lid. I don't clean the inside of the garbage can. Why? Okay. Because there's a garbage bag that gets replaced, so I don't clean it.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Because nobody's licking it. Let's move on.
Why would they be fucking licking it?
You're making...
Why'd you go to licking it? How do we get from it just being gross to being like, well, it's only gross if you lick it. If you don't lick it, it's not gross. What?
Just saying. It's a non-issue. Move on.
Non-issue.
I'm moving on.
Non-issue to you.
I don't even know if I want to keep this in. I'm put on blast here.
You put yourself on blast. Let's move on. Back to you.
Am I the asshole for telling my wife I won't be opening the door for her creepy friend? My 41 male wife, Becky, 39 female, is planning on traveling abroad to visit her sister and her family in the next few days. She'll be gone for the next 2.5 weeks. Over the past year, my wife has become good friends with our neighbor, Emily, 37 female, who lives a few houses down. Long story short, Emily makes me feel uncomfortable, and I think she's trying to make a move on me. At first, I thought she was joking, and I didn't think much of her behavior, but now it only makes me uncomfortable. Earlier today, Becky told me that she chatted with Emily and mentioned how she'd be going overseas for a few weeks. She said that Emily offered to come by and drop off some food for us, myself and our 11-year-old daughter, Alice, from time to time. Becky was reluctant to agree, but after Emily insisted, she finally agreed. I was surprised that she'd agreed to this without consulting me first, so I told her that it made me uncomfortable. Becky said that Emily means well, and it would be rude if we were to refuse now. I said okay, but that she shouldn't be surprised if Alice and I forget to open the door every time Emily comes knocking. Becky said that I was being a jerk to someone offering us kindness. Am I the asshole?
I don't know. This is yeah, kind of. Somebody comes to your door.
He's uncomfortable.
No, 100% valid. But somebody comes knocking at your door, you know they're there, you're home, and you choose not to answer the door, you would be the asshole. Yes.
Okay,
is your wife?
Let me ask you a question.
Hold on. Is your wife also an asshole? Yes. She should have consulted you and not put you in that position. But if somebody comes over and you're home and you purposely just don't answer the door because she makes you uncomfortable, I think you're kind of an asshole.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If it were a woman and who was home alone and it was a man coming to the door who she felt uncomfortable with, would that change your mind?
Well,
if it were me.
No, it's different.
How?
Because I would have had to have already convinced or accepted and told that person that they can come visit. She was the gatekeeper and she opened the fucking gate. She didn't keep the gate closed. So I would be mad. But, you should be mad at me.
Yes. But would you still expect them to open the door if they are uncomfortable? No. If it was a woman, if the roles were reversed. No.
Well, I would say do whatever you want if you're uncomfortable. But I just think that if you are aware somebody is coming to your door and you know that they're at the door and you know that they're knocking and then you choose not to open the door, I think that you're kind of being a bit of an asshole.
I don't think so. Because I'm putting myself in his shoes and I just know if there is a man that I'm uncomfortable with, whether you gave him permission to come over or not, I would not be opening the door.
Yeah.
I would be scared.
Well, that's fair. I just think the biggest asshole here is his wife.
Oh, definitely. But I don't think you should be calling OP the asshole for...
I guess. I just feel like it's rude that they know you're home and they know you're not opening the door on purpose. A little weird.
Stop. They need to stop being weird then.
Yeah.
They need to stop being coming on to OP, knowing that they're married.
True. Okay.
They're the weirdo. Okay, there's an update. Early this morning, I spoke to Becky about my concerns regarding Emily's behavior. She said that Emily doesn't have an ulterior motive and only means well. She also brought up how Emily has her own husband and always tells Becky how great he is. For some more context, Emily is married, but her husband isn't home too much, as he works in the military. When I asked if she could tell Emily that we don't need any food deliveries, she said it would be awkward to mention it right before her trip and how it would only be once or twice a week. Another thing Becky mentioned that has only increased my uneasiness is that Emily had given her a spare house key, just in case of emergencies or anything like that. For those wondering, my wife is leaving a few hours past midnight tonight. And for clarification regarding the key, Emily gave my wife her own house key, but doesn't have the key to our home.
Thank fucking God. Yo, I'd be pissed if you gave somebody else our house key without confirming with me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Another edit for context. For those wondering what Emily does, I can tell you that she does a lot of unnecessary physical contact, like hugging me whenever she sees me, which didn't bother me the first few times, but increasingly makes me feel uneasy. Not only that, but she has made very suggestive comments in the past. I would also add that the way she dresses and her body language when she comes to our house seems a little bit flirtatious. Someone asked in the comments, have you ever communicated your issues with Emily to your wife? OP says, I have once before, about a month ago. She didn't think much of it. All she really said was something along the lines of, that's how she is, but I don't think she means any of it.
Okay, but you don't know.
Yeah, she's
don't
just
know
like
for sure.
dismissing his
Just
feelings.
dismissing all of his feelings.
That's a really shit wife, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Another comment says, but it'll make for very awkward moments if you don't answer as she knows you're home.
That's what I'm saying.
OP says, this is why it's such a pain. I really wish my wife didn't tell her about our plans. I guess my daughter and I will have to be out most days.
That's my solution. I am going to try to not be home as much as possible.
That's bullshit, though.
It is bullshit. Absolutely. But that's the fucking wife's bullshit mess that she created. It's your fault. You did this to me. Okay, so what do you do from here? Just install cameras inside your house. Go on to Amazon, get those pet camera or like little easy to set up Wi-Fi cameras with an SD card and just put them at the front door entry, put them at the kitchen, put them around the house, just to make sure that there can be no confusion if she tries to pull some janky bullshit. That's my solution.
One of the comments does say, record her secretly if you can. This way, if she does make a move, you can show your wife. OP responds, our house has a few cameras on the outside, so there's that.
No, you need cameras on the inside because she's going to come ring the doorbell. She's going to have food and then she's going to press her way to come inside the house. So you need cameras set up from the front door. It shows every angle of like the whole bottom, anywhere you can go downstairs. And if she goes upstairs, you do not follow, or unless you would put a camera up there.
Yeah. Okay. There's an update. I would like to thank everyone who responded to my first post. I really appreciated your insights and support. I've taken the advice suggested multiple times in the comments and have installed a doorbell camera the day after my wife had left home. Fortunately, nothing has really happened so far, so I didn't really see much of a need for an update until recently. Without further ado, here is the update. For the past few days, things have been pretty quiet. I've been enjoying spending quality time with my daughter, Alice. She attends a summer day camp during my working hours, but we've been spending every evening and the past weekend together watching movies, going on walks, playing video games, etc. My wife, Becky, had planned on teaching Alice how to cook this summer, but since that is yet to occur, I've taken the opportunity. I think Alice is a natural. She picks up instructions quickly, and we've been having a lot of fun. The day before yesterday, our neighbor, Emily, came to drop off some food as she had told Becky she would. I did open the door as I decided to just accept once, to be polite. But I let her know that she didn't need to worry herself with any other deliveries as my daughter and I would be cooking. She was acting normally until the very end when she said something along the lines of, quote, if there is anything else I can do for you, please let me know. And she said it in a very flirtatious tone. I thanked her and told her that I appreciated the gesture, but reiterated that we would be able to manage on our own. She then said, well, if you ever crave anything else, just let me know. Just think of it as a substitute for Becky. This made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, mainly because of the tone she said it in. The next morning, yesterday, Alice and I were rushing to get to camp and work. Emily popped out of nowhere and started telling me how her driveway was being resurfaced, and she needed somewhere to put her car for the next few days. She asked if she could place it in our driveway, and I agreed, as Alice and I were in a rush and because she dropped off food the previous night. As I was driving away, I was mentally kicking myself, as now she'd have a reason to hang around our house. Later that day, I was home doing some chores in our garage when Emily pulled up in her car, mentioning again how her driveway was being resurfaced. I could see that it was indeed the case. We had a bit of small talk, but at some point, she went into a tirade about her husband. She shared how she sometimes feels unappreciated by him sometimes, and how they don't get to spend time together. I didn't say too much during this, only that I felt sorry she felt that way. I glanced at my phone and then pretended that Alice was texting me to come pick her up. It was close enough to her time anyway. I said goodbye and locked up my house. Yesterday evening was largely uneventful, and I'm looking forward to spending some more time with my kid.
Damn, that's what she's going for. I'll be a substitute for your wife. Just think of it as a substitute for Becky. That's icky. That's icky.
Very cringe.
I think he handled it perfectly. There's a part where he says, when she came with the food, I let her know that she shouldn't worry herself because my daughter and I would be cooking. Perfect.
That is perfect. I want to teach my daughter how to cook, and this is the best opportunity to do that.
You come over once, you answer the door, you accept it. Perfect. Take the food. You're not rude. You didn't just like hide inside. And then you tell her, don't bring any more because we're cooking. The next time she shows up, you're like, oh, sorry, we already have so many leftovers because Alice has just been cooking up a storm, just making different recipes. Like, please don't bring us any more food. Our fridge is full. Leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then, damn, she's really, really worming her way in. Do you think she purposely waited to get her driveway redone for when Becky was out of town?
Ooh.
Planned that?
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Just conveniently happened to be when Becky's gone.
I want to see this doorbell video.
Yeah. So someone in the comments says, good thing you installed that doorbell camera. Was it able to record what Emily said to you? What gross behavior from Emily. Quote, I'm unhappy in my marriage, so let me try to squeeze my way into someone else's. OP replied, the audio quality isn't perfect, but thankfully it did record what she said. I feel that she's just trying to make me sympathize with her. Whenever he's here, her husband seems like a nice enough guy. That being said, I guess I don't know what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah. Sucks. Oh well.
So there's another update. I wanted to give a quick update on what's been happening since my last post. Becky will be back in a few days, and I didn't want to disrupt her trip or make her worry, so I've spared her most of the Emily details until she arrives. From speaking with Becky, however, I have learned that her sister does not like Emily at all. Becky told me that she was pretty upset about the arrangement and that she thinks Becky is overly trusting. Aside from that, things have been largely quiet this week. Emily's driveway has been completed, so she has taken her car back. I haven't seen much of her since then.
Good.
Okay, there's one final update. Hey everyone, it's been a pretty wild 24 hours. I'll give you a quick recap of what's been happening. Since Becky was coming home last night, Alice and I spent most of the day tidying up. In the late afternoon, I decided to mow our lawn as it was about time to do so. In the past, I have occasionally mowed Emily's lawn, shoveled her driveway, etc. I do this because her husband has done this for us before, so I've always thought that this was just paying them back. Becky has also asked me to do this a few times in the past. However, because of what's been going on, I figured it would not be a good idea, and I purposely mowed our lawn when her car was away so that I could return to my house discreetly. After putting away our mower, I saw Emily's car pull into her driveway. Just as I was about to go inside, she called out to me. She asked when Becky would be back. I told her that Becky's flight was scheduled to arrive tonight, and she seemed happy about that. It was a humid day, and I was sweating a bit. She mentioned that I looked hot, maybe not have meant it in that way, but with her, I never know, and suggested that Alice and I should drop by for drinks. I thanked her for the offer, but explained that I couldn't, and the conversation mostly ended there. Becky arrived home last night, a few hours after midnight, and was very exhausted from her flight. After I brought her some food, we were only able to talk a bit about her trip before she went to bed. I planned on discussing Emily and showing her the video the next day once she rested, but she was still asleep in the morning and I had to run errands. This is where things got complicated. After finishing my errands, I went home to spend time with Becky and tell her about the video. When I got home, Alice had already gone out with her friends, so it was just Becky and me. Becky seemed upset, so I asked her what was wrong. She told me that after waking up, she received a text from Emily welcoming her back and inviting her over. Becky agreed and went to Emily's house. She noticed that Emily's living room was messier than usual, but what bothered her more was a pair of men's exercise shorts on the sofa. They looked identical to a pair I had. I say had because those shorts went missing about a month ago. There was also what Becky thought was a condom wrapper on the floor next to it. During their conversation, Emily talked a lot about how kind I've been to her and how much we talked while Becky was away. Emily even suggested that Becky should have extended her stay at her sister's so she can continue looking after Alice and me. At that point, Becky excused herself and went home. She mentioned that she felt overwhelmed and almost sick. She told me that she came home panicking about what Emily may have meant, so she spoke with her sister. Her sister called bullshit on Emily's claims, as everything seemed too conveniently placed, which calmed Becky down a bit. After sharing all this with me, she asked about my contact with Emily during her absence. I told her about the food, the car, and the conversation from the previous day. Then I showed her the video. Becky was stunned and said that Emily was blatantly trying to flirt with me. After watching it, she said she felt sick about all her interactions with her. The main issue still bothering us is the shorts. I had an identical pair that went missing. We're unsure if the shorts Becky saw are mine or if Emily bought the same pair for her little stunt. As I mentioned before, Emily has been to our house, so it's not impossible for her to have taken them. However, we lack proof of this. Considering how Emily gave my wife her own house keys before she left, it all seems very well thought out. Also, we're increasingly starting to suspect that her husband may be okay with what she's doing. Becky plans to return the key in the next few days.
God damn, just setting him up. Yo, 100% those are his shorts. She was there,
1000%.
took an opportunity, took them just to like set it up, in the future. God damn, what the fuck is going on here?
You may not have like concrete proof, but like that is proof enough. The proof is in the pudding. There is missing shorts. There is shorts identical at the neighbor's house. There is a neighbor who is obsessed with you.
There has been your husband's complaints for months.
A plus B equals C. And what do the comments say? I'm actually afraid for your wife's safety. OP says, yes, at this point I am more concerned for my wife and my daughter. I'm pretty doubtful that Emily will try anything drastic, and I think she'll continue her current strategy and just hope for different results. My wife has also made it clear that she doesn't want to go back to her house. Yeah, she definitely doesn't seem to be in her right mind. We'll be exercising extra caution from here on out.
Bro, I'm moving.
Yeah.
I'm putting my house up for sale and I'm just going to move. Like 3 streets over, stay in the same area. Like, no, the kid doesn't have to change school or lose her friends or anything like that. But like, I'm leaving and I'm telling Emily that I'm moving to Wisconsin. And bye. But then I just move like to the other side of town and that's it.
Yeah.
Damn, crazy, psycho. Oh my God.
Maybe we should believe people when they say that they're uncomfortable.
So much scheming.
Like this all could have been avoided.
Right?
All right. Back to you.
Okay. My daughter is having an affair with a married neighbor. I told her she needs to move out of my house.
Ooh.
Last week, I caught my daughter, 21, leaving our neighbor's house early in the morning. I was getting a drink around 3 in the morning and watched her leave their house, and she snuck across the yard and went through our basement door. Our neighbor is married and probably 30. I assume his wife was gone for the night as her car wasn't there. The next morning, I went down to my daughter's room and confronted her. At first, she denied it, but eventually said that she has been sleeping with him for a couple months. I lost it at that point and yelled at her, telling her he is married and she is helping to ruin a marriage. I told her that she needs to tell the wife or she needs to move out. She is clearly upset and thinks I am overreacting. My wife is also thinking I'm going too far. I get that the neighbor is the main issue, but I'm really disappointed in my daughter. She knows his wife and has even babysat for them.
Oh.
Is telling her to confess or move out too far.
No, not at all. I think this is a valuable lesson to her. She's 21. She's an adult. She can now live on her own. And yeah, this is like a moral lesson, an ethical lesson that you have to teach her. And if she chooses to move out instead of tell the wife, like, that's on her.
You don't think, like, does it matter what she does in her own time? Does that affect you?
If she's under your house, like, yeah, I would also be looking at her sideways and be like, well, what the hell? I don't want to house a, not a cheater, but someone who's
Homewrecker?
a homewrecker. Yeah, that's the word. I don't want to be housing a homewrecker.
It's your daughter.
She can find another place to live. You don't think?
How much time are you giving her?
I mean, a reasonable amount. She has to, like
2 years?
2 years? No.
What's reasonable to you? 2 weeks?
She can look for houses right away, and I'll help her.
What if she just... How long are you gonna if she keeps looking? Like, what if she just says she keeps looking?
I'll help her, that's why.
Right, but like, how long? How long will you help her for? Like, what if you keep helping her and she just keeps, like, says that she's looking, but she never leaves? So, like, how long?
A couple months.
What if, like, over a couple months you just forgive her and it's not a big deal anymore?
I think her choice would be very telling. Like, if she wants to move out rather than tell the wife, then that's, like, the nail in the coffin for me.
So you think that she should be the homewrecker and then expose it and completely break it apart?
Yeah.
Okay.
The wife will find out eventually.
But you think that she should take the brunt of it? What if the wife goes nuts and murders your child? The guilt you would have because you made her confess.
You're doing the most right now.
There's an edit. Wow, thank you all for responding. I'm sorry, I couldn't respond to more of you. Some context I failed to put in here. My wife is very upset. She isn't citing the affair. In fact, she was cheated on by an ex. She understands this better than I do. I think this is a big part of why I'm so angry. My wife is also a better person than I am. She is the only reason I am the man I am today. I have too much respect to let people, even anonymously, insinuate that she is a problem here. I should have done a better job in explaining her side. Any comments saying anything bad about my wife will be met with a big fuck you. Writing all this out and reading comments has been incredibly helpful. I haven't changed my mind, but it's made me think about the situation more, especially looking at the future and my relationship with my daughter. I just shot a text to my daughter and apologized for my anger and asked her to go get a drink with me tonight and talk. I told her I'm sorry I didn't ask her how she is feeling. I need to get my composure back before my next work call here in the next few minutes, but I will continue to read and reply to comments as I have time today.
Damn. So I guess I was on the wrong side of the consensus. Like, I think it's still a good lesson to be like, it's a good way to kind of like, I don't know, show your daughter that this is wrong.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I definitely think that, like, you need to, help your kid understand that it's wrong, not okay. I just don't think one of my options, like, would be you have to tell the wife.
What?
Yeah, I wouldn't, I feel like that could, like, you don't know how people are going to react. You don't know what's going to happen. So I feel like that would be an avoidance thing for me. I feel like I would be looking for consequences to show the severity of the situation without telling the wife. I don't know.
No.
Like, I think the wife deserves to know, but I'm just worried about personal safety and people being
And do it anonymously.
crazy. Like your husband's cheating on you, not your husband's cheating on you with my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just concerned on the safety aspect of people being nuts.
I mean, that is kind of valid. But yeah, I don't know. I think still, though, you can do it anonymously. Like, I don't know, write a letter.
Sure. But don't point any fingers towards your daughter.
Yeah. But the husband will probably say who it was with.
Well,
like, she's going to find out eventually.
And what if she's fucking psycho?
She has a right to be.
People can go crazy, and I just wouldn't want anything really, really bad happening. So
I guess I feel like you're kind of insinuating something here.
I'm insinuating that maybe she'll kill my daughter.
No, I'm saying, like, the rest of the story, right?
Oh no.
Oh.
I don't, nothing. I don't think she goes crazy or anything in the story. No.
Okay.
So there's an edit number 2. Just going to put thoughts here instead of commenting. While yes, I may be seeming to backtrack a little with reaching out to my daughter, I don't see how that is bad. She is my daughter and I love her so much. For those who think she would stop talking to us if we kicked her out, I raised her to be independent and accept consequences for her actions. It's hard to explain our relationship, but I know she wouldn't stop talking to us if we did force her to move. She would also figure it out as she is a smart woman. She would move out of our house, not our life. I'm always her dad. On that note, this is the dad writing, not the mom as some of you have thought. Also, not worried about violence from our neighbor's wife. Unfortunately, she is a very sweet woman, which makes everything worse. But I wouldn't put my daughter in danger. I confirm my daughter hasn't told the husband that we know. I will be watching his behavior as I'm not sure how he will react. Last thing, as I find it funny, I was drinking water, not alcohol when I saw her. I woke up and went to the kitchen and saw her from the window, but I appreciate the links to AA.
What the hell?
I really should have made my original post longer. Sorry for all the edits. I'll update after I talk to my daughter. See, even he's worried about violence.
Yeah, probably because people in the comments were like,
That's what I mean. That's where I'm like, I don't know if I would be like, hey, you have to tell the freaking person, like the spouse, that you're cheating on them and stuff. Like, people can go nuts. Like, I definitely think you need to help educate your child that this is not right, not okay, can't continue it. But
I think
it's not the same as your kid steals candy from a store, making them go back to that store and admit that they stole the candy. It's a little bit murkier. It's like,
I guess, yeah.
Your kid stole money from a drug dealer, and now you want your kid to go return the money from the gun-wielding drug wielder. There could be violence.
Okay. I would say more likely from the man than the woman.
I don't know. Either way, people do crazy things. So there's an update. I went out for drinks with my daughter. It was awkward at first. We just talked about work and her schooling for a while. It felt nice to just talk about normal things for a bit. At some point, she just asked me if I was proud of her. I almost broke down when she asked that. I said, yes, I am proud of her, though I'm not proud of the mistake that you made. I talked a bit about why what she did made me so upset, but that nothing she could ever do would make me love her less. She told me more about how she got involved with the neighbor. I won't share too much. It's nothing terrible like many of you were assuming. They just knew each other as they had her babysit their baby over the last year. One night she was out with friends and ran into the husband at the bar. That's when things progressed and the affair started. During this time, she was going through a breakup that was rough. I knew she was going through that, but didn't realize how bad it was. I told her that she is an adult and responsible for her actions, that I don't want her in my house doing things like this. We talked about telling the wife. My daughter is scared to tell her. She isn't sure how the husband will react once the affair is out. I'm going to go with her tomorrow while the husband is at work and tell her together. My daughter also wants to move out. She said it's something she has been thinking about before, and now she said it will be awkward with this being in the open. She started to cry about how she didn't realize the damage she was doing, knowing that she is the other woman and helped to break or at least hurt this marriage. I talked to her about her mom and her past and what that has done to her. That's about it. We cried together, had tough discussions. Tomorrow we will let the wife know, and I'll help my daughter move to my sister's place for a while. I told her things will probably get worse before they get better.
Well, that's good. I feel like OP did the right thing here. It seems like they're both mature. Like, emotionally mature.
Yeah.
OP can understand. He still wants a relationship with her. Like, he's not disappointed in her. He's still proud of her. But, like, your actions have consequences. And I feel like that's a very good way to teach your child.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do like them telling the wife, and I do like the responsibility and, you know, them telling the wife that the affair is happening and everything. The part that gets sticky for me is the fact that they're neighbors and they know where she lives. If there was a little bit of anonymous to that, like you could walk up... Anonymity. You could walk up to the door, you could say what you need to say, and you can walk away, and that person can never find you. I'm all on board for that. But when it's this neighbor situation, it gets sticky. Like, what if she knows where she lives? What if it drives either one of those couples' relationship, and then they want revenge for their life being destroyed? They know where that person lives.
But that is a risk that, like, I don't know. Like, that's a risk of even, like, the man knowing. Like, if you're having an affair with somebody,
Yeah.
and then, like, the man will know where you're living because they've probably been to your house.
Yeah, that's where I'm just like, I'm on the side for
But
like,
even if they weren't neighbors, is what I'm
no,
saying.
I know. I'm just saying, I'm not blowing anything up when they know where I live.
Yeah. Well, she did say she's moving, so.
Right. But that's where I'm just like, I think things should be told. But I'm more concerned about personal safety for any individual over the truth of a situation.
Yeah, I can respect that.
People who have affairs, they're already could be potentially like, I don't want to say bad person, but they're already doing something morally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, one step further, murdering someone.
Okay. The next step after cheating isn't murder.
Yeah, it's not a direct stepping stone.
Okay.
I'm just saying morally questionable actions.
Yeah.
Back
All
to you.
right. My married next door neighbor is cheating on her husband with at least 2 different guys during the day while he's at work. What would you do? Me and my boyfriend moved into our place almost 3 years ago, and sometime last year, a new couple in their mid-30s moved in directly next door. We share a wall. We both have 2 upstairs bedrooms, and it quickly became apparent that they chose the room that shares a wall with our bedroom, as we would often hear them having sex at night. No porn star level moaning or anything like that, but you can easily make out the movement in the bed and slapping on flesh, so enough to be a distraction. We both found it funny at first, but often they'd be at it in the very early hours of the morning, especially on the weekends, and often multiple times back to back without breaks between. It really started to interrupt our sleeping, so we decided to just move rooms, and now our old bedroom is my work from home office. While they were both working from home, I was in my new office room. I'd still hear them at it during the day, every now and then, but I just put on my headphones and try to ignore it. No big deal, and good on them for having such an active sex life. Once the husband went back to office working, I was no longer having to reach for my headphones nearly as often, so thought that that would be the end of it. A few weeks after him going back to work, however, the midday sex noises started up again, even more enthusiastic and frequent than before, which was odd as her husband's car was not parked outside. I also noticed a pattern of hearing their doorbell go shortly before the sex started. After going full nosy neighbor mode and peeking through our blinds almost every day, I noticed that a guy was parking his van just up the road, popping in next door for an hour of fun, then heading back out. Not only that, but I've even spotted a different guy turning up every now and then. I've been cheated on before, albeit in a much more casual relationship when I was younger, and think it's one of the most disrespectful and hurtful things someone can do to another person. It makes me sad for her husband, and hearing her go at it with these guys on almost a daily basis is getting me increasingly annoyed and angry. My boyfriend says I just need to ignore it, and it's not worth getting caught up in these things. I kind of agree, but almost feel like making some kind of anonymous tip-off to let her husband know somehow. What do you guys think? P.S. She was already halfway through her second round with one of these guys this afternoon when I started typing this.
Damn. Oh, that's terrible how the house is just so thin and you can hear your neighbor. That's terrible.
Yeah. What would you do?
I would go across the street at the time that the person arrives and I would take pictures. I would print the pictures and I would put them in the mailbox.
Damn.
Yeah. I wouldn't
Frame the across the street neighbor.
Yeah, like I'm not taking them from my window. I don't want the angle of them being picked.
You're gonna frame somebody.
Like from sidewalk view.
Mm.
Like I don't want. I'm willing to tell, but I'm not willing to. I'm doing it anonymously. Yeah.
At the beginning of this episode, I said, mind your own business. And now I'm like,
Would you mind your own business?
I probably would.
I don't like cheating.
I don't like it either.
I feel
I'm also not a confrontational person. I don't like conflict.
Because all the other times you're like, oh, they need to know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would prefer to keep myself safe and not say anything. But if I could do it anonymously,
yeah,
I'll do it.
Yeah. There's an update. Thanks for the wide range of replies, everyone. For those saying mind my own business, I get that to an extent, but it kind of becomes my business when it's distracting me from my work on a daily basis. There's been a few times I've had calls while it's been going on, and I just have to pray that the noise canceling from my mic is doing its job and be extra quick on the mute button when I'm not talking. A lot are saying to separate the two issues, which seem like good advice. After all, it's the noise that's impacting me personally. Even if it was her and her husband, that would still be a major annoyance for me. In fact, even though we've moved rooms, we can still hear them most nights and often early morning too. I honestly don't know how she can manage so much sex. Admittedly, the cheating aspect, assuming it's not some kind of open relationship thing that they have going on, which seems unlikely, but yes, I suppose it is possible, is adding to my emotional response for sure, but ultimately that's between them, not me. As much as I empathize with the husband, again, assuming he's unaware, I do agree with a lot of the comments here saying it's not my place to out her, and not worth being in any way involved with the potential fallout. My boyfriend also shares this view. Reporting to council/police just doesn't seem like an option. I mean, it is, but it would be so obvious it was us who complained, and neither of us would want to go down that path. I think I will try to pluck up the courage and maybe try to bring it up casually the next time I see her on her own and hope for the best. On the bright side, their neighbor on the other side is an older guy who is practically deaf, so if they at least swapped rooms like we did, there's less of a chance the other neighbor hearing them at all.
Damn. I don't know.
That is a good...
Maybe they are in an open relationship. Maybe the husband's fine. So then if you do it anonymously, you get it off your chest and nothing changes with them.
I think her approach of like asking the wife about it first is good. I don't know.
But now
Like,
the wife
maybe...
knows that somebody knows and she needs to silence them.
I feel like, yeah, once you go that route, then you can no longer do it anonymously.
Yeah, right? Like
Fingers will be pointed at you.
No, I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not down for that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, one final update. Well, turns out there was a twist after all. After all my moaning, my boyfriend got talking to the guy out the back over the weekend and, as sensitively and politely as possible, brought up the subject of the noise. And well, long story short, they are adult content creators. Obviously, he never mentioned anything about the guy showing up, but we think it's probably safe to assume he's well aware. The husband was also very apologetic and admitted they were both worried about noise, but figured it must not be that bad since we never mentioned anything all this time, and that they tend not to hear much from us. It turns out the wife is now doing this as her main job and quit her previous job months ago, and they already planned on turning their spare room into her studio, which, if that happens, should mean much less noise for us. Kudos to all of you that called me out for being so presumptuous that she was cheating. Lesson learned not to jump to conclusions.
Well, I mean, that's not 100% confirmed, but most likely, yeah.
I think it's pretty clear.
I think so.
I think if he knows, well, he obviously knows that she is an adult, like a sex worker. I think this is, he probably can see her videos online too and see who she's sleeping with. He would know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Top comment, quote, no porn star level moaning. That's what you think.
Right? But it's drowning down. There's more sound deadening than you think there is, and it's just at max level, and you're hearing it at min level. Like, it's getting filtered through the wall a bit. It's getting toned down.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Isn't that ironic?
She
originally posted that and said, not porn star level moaning. And
yeah. That's ironic.
Oh, that's so funny.
Damn. All right, I got a short one here. Okay. Comes from r/apartment living. Friendly neighbor. So there's a note that is on the screen that I'll read. It's a neighbor note. To B4 from B3. If you come home and realize one of your cats is gone, it's because it's in my apartment. I opened the door and homie ran straight in. Keys will be in the power outlet next to the door. It's locked in my room. Don't steal anything. LOL. Just get the puss. Also, I ain't mad unless it ain't your cat. Then this is weird.
What the hell? Come get your puss is fucking crazy.
It's on this tiny little note, so maybe he's trying to save room, but he did have some room for a Y.
There's 3 more.
There's lots of room for a Y, yeah. But like you're in your apartment and cat just like, boom, ran, gone. And then
Also, sorry, puss is 4 letters, whereas cat is. Puss is 4 letters, whereas cat is 3 letters. So that is
He did it on purpose.
wrong.
Yeah, that's true. There's a top comment. It says, I was living in an apartment building, and one day I came home from work, and there's this cat in the hallway with its face pressed right up against my neighbor's door, jammed right into the corner on the side that opens. So I knocked. The neighbor opened the door, and the cat bolted inside. It was so fast that there's no way they saw the cat at all. And here I am like a crazy person knocking for no reason. All I could muster was that your cat? The guy looked around his feet and laughed and said, probably. Apartment cats can be wacky.
What do you mean, probably?
Like, he didn't see the cat come in. So he's like, he didn't know what cat he was looking at.
Oh, okay. I thought it meant like he didn't know what his cat looked like. Like he hasn't seen him in so long.
No, he didn't even see him by his feet.
Oh, okay.
Like our cats, sometimes they try and sneak out.
Yeah.
We give them some hallway time.
They're not
sometimes.
that bad though. Like,
no, they're not like open the door and they're running out.
I've
if we're like
cat sit many cats that
really sneaking out.
Rush out.
Yeah, it's nice about the apartment with your cats is like a little safety hallway chamber.
Yeah. It's not outdoors to the danger of coyotes and cars. And
we'll have to watch out with that with the RV, but I don't think it'll be too much of an issue because they've never like doors open, they sprint out. It's like if I'm standing there with the door open, they're like, curious. And they like tiptoe.
Yeah.
And like if we make any sudden movement, they run away.
I think it would also be different outside. Like in the RV, like the door will be outside.
It'll be changing scenery too.
Yeah.
The hallway's like the same.
They'll be scared.
Probably.
But we'll have to definitely be careful.
I'm
gonna be very cautious.
Me too. Are we going to try to harness train them again?
I don't think so.
Maybe Luna. I don't want to stress Jack out, but
he gets stressed
Luna.
out. And
I put the harness on Jack a few times, and he just plops. Luna has had it on before,
yeah,
so
because
she might be okay.
we did it to her as a kitten.
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably the best time to do it.
Yeah, she might be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if we can get like a thin one for Jack and just, I don't know, put it on him, see if he hates it. He just needs to get used to walking in it.
I know.
That's all it is.
Yeah. But definitely don't want to force them if they're comfortable.
Exactly. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll play it by ear.
Mm.
We do have some RV updates that we'll get to in a little bit. Back to you.
All right. Dog ate my neighbor's drone. Am I liable? Not sure what to do. Earlier today, my neighbor came pounding on my door, screaming obscenities and shouting at me. When I finally got him to stop yelling, I found out that he was flying his drone in my backyard again, and this time my dog finally managed to catch it and destroy it. He claimed this was a $900 drone, and I had to pay him right then and there. I refused and closed the door in his face. A couple hours later, police showed up to retrieve the drone. It was still in my yard, but my dog completely ignored it once it stopped buzzing, and asked about the situation. The said neighbor called them, stating that I refused him access to my yard to get it. That's not true. He never asked. I'm worried the neighbor will try to press charges against me for destruction of property or sue me. Will he have any legal standing if this does go to court? He has a history of flying his drone over my yard to tease my dog. I have asked him to stop several times, which he always refuses, telling me that I don't own the air above my yard. I have called the police to complain once before. He was doing flybys over my dog and getting very close to hitting him. The police didn't say he couldn't fly it in my yard, but did ask him to stop doing so in order to avoid conflict. That only seemed to egg him on.
Karma, bitch! Also, he has no legal standing because, as far as I understand,
Mr. Lawyer here.
What?
Mr. Lawyer here.
No, when I was doing the real estate course, there is a certain limit to the airspace above your house. Your backyard would be your airspace up until I think it's like 4 stories or something above your property. There is a cube bubble that is your property, and it goes to a certain height. So if the neighbor is flying that drone in close enough that your dog can get him, egging on your dog, then absolutely that's on your property. Your property is like a 3D box. It's not 2D. It's like a 3D box, and you get a height limit. And then once it goes above that height limit, then it's no longer your property, and it's owned by the country and FAA and all that stuff. So in this situation, he was trespassing on your property with his drone, and you should actually sue him.
Update. I was served a summons by a sheriff's deputy. neighbor decided to take me to small claims court over his drone. My mother-in-law is a paralegal secretary, so I was able to get a free consultation with a lawyer where she works at to ask some questions about what to bring and how to be prepared. He seemed genuinely amused that my neighbor was even trying to sue. He also suggested I could countersue and how I could possibly add in more damages. He also told me that my neighbor and I technically live within 5 miles of an airport, and even though it doesn't have a tower, technically that falls under FAA regulations. I called the hotline from Google and spoke to them about my neighbor's hobby of flying out of line of sight, flying several thousand feet in the air, flying near an airport, and made an inquiry into if he was registered to fly drones, saying he owned 2 very large drones. He already bought a new one. This one was almost 5 feet across.
It's huge.
I don't know the weight of his, but it definitely is at least a few pounds. They took my information and have called me back once, so I know they're investigating but don't know anything else. Not sure if they'll tell me anything anyways. I brought both police reports to court, as well as several photos of my backyard, photos of our shared 8 feet high privacy fence, medical bills for my dog, and a few short videos I had of him doing flybys over my dog in the past. His main argument to the judge was that I maliciously installed a table to allow my dog to jump high enough to catch his drone, which I somehow trained him to do. Which, yes, I had recently bought a new picnic table, but only so I have somewhere to sit and eat outside. I argued that his flying was causing my dog anxiety, and that's what provoked it. And thanks to y'all's advice, that my dog could have potentially died from ingesting parts of the drone, or if the drone hit him. In the end, he now has to pay me just under $2,000 for various vet bills, x-rays, dental exams, sedation, medication, etc. He is also banned from flying over my property, and I installed trail cams in my front and backyards just in case. He seemed pretty upset with me, so I wanted to be careful. The only thing that could make this better is if the FAA finds a reason to fine him or take away his drones.
Damn.
Mic drop.
That's right. Try and sue me. I countersue your ass. Karma right there. That's amazing.
Like, imagine taking someone to court without even, like, looking, just doing a Google search. A Google search as to if you're right or wrong.
Right?
Like, what do you mean?
Ask Chad. ChatGPT.
The internet is free.
If I fly my drone over my neighbor's property and close enough that their dog jumps up and bites it, am I responsible?
Will I win?
I think it's one thing if you're flying your drone in your backyard and the dog jumped on the picnic table, jumped over the fence, and then bit your drone. Sure, that owner should be liable, but you entered her property.
Exactly.
Also, this is the dog.
Oh, how'd you find that?
This is all, click the link.
Cutie. What a good boy. It's like a husky mix.
Yeah.
Cutie.
If you're on YouTube, you saw it. You know.
All right. Top comment says, some people never advance past the middle school bully stage of life. I hope the FAA finds that he's breaking some laws and he also faces consequences from them. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'm excited to get a drone again.
Hell yeah.
Get the DJI-4 Mini Pro drone. We're gonna have to order that up soon. Weddings coming up and stuff.
True.
Oh, didn't even think about that in the budget.
Yeah.
Also the DJI Pocket 3 and the mics. Oof. 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 All right, I'm gonna read one more.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for refusing to let my neighbor use my driveway after she's been parking in it without asking? So I, 30 female, live in a suburban neighborhood with my husband, 32 male. We have a double driveway that fits both of our cars comfortably, and we've lived here for about 5 years. Our next door neighbor, let's call her Linda, moved in a year ago. She's an older woman in her late 50s who seems friendly on the surface, but has started to cause some issues. It started a few months ago when I came home and found her car parked in my driveway. At first, I thought it was a mistake, so I knocked on her door to ask her to move it. She apologized, saying she had a guest over and her driveway was full. I let it slide that time, but then it kept happening. I'd come home to find her car, or sometimes her guest's car, in my driveway. I told her multiple times that it wasn't okay, but she just shrugged it off and moved the car when asked, often saying things like, quote, It's not like you were using it right then. The final straw happened last week. My mother-in-law, the one who isn't exactly my biggest fan, was visiting, and I specifically asked her to park in the driveway so she wouldn't block the street. When we came home from running errands, Linda's car was there again.
Oh my God.
Mother-in-law was already in a bad mood, and she snidely remarked, "Wow, even your neighbors walk all over you. I wonder why."
Jesus.
I was furious. I knocked on Linda's door and told her that this was the last time she was parking in my driveway, period. She got defensive, saying I was being unreasonable since she only does it occasionally, and that is just a driveway, not a sacred space. Since then, she started giving me the cold shoulder, and I've noticed her glaring at me whenever I'm outside. My husband says I've gone too far and I should have just let it slide, especially since she's older and it's not worth the drama. Even my mother-in-law, shockingly, agreed, saying that I should pick my battles. But I feel like it's my property, and I shouldn't have to keep asking someone not to use it without permission. At the same time, maybe I am overreacting by confronting her so harshly. So, am I the asshole for refusing to let my neighbor park in my driveway and possibly escalating things?
No, absolutely not. It's one thing to ask your neighbor if you can park in their driveway, and it's another thing to just assume that you can.
Right?
Assuming that you're not going to have a use for it, assuming that you will not have guests over that day.
Yeah.
That's really entitled.
That's crazy.
She deserved a good yelling.
Yeah, it's a little entitled. Top comment, not the asshole. Your neighbor is being a jerk. So is your husband. Does he ever complain that there's no room in the driveway when he comes home? I bet if he was inconvenienced enough times, he'll go have a talk with her about the car. Old people don't get a pass just because they're old. And this is coming from a 70-year-old woman.
Period. Nana? Nana banana of a fana?
So OP does have a previous post that came like the same month that one does, but it was removed. And the title was, "Am I the asshole for refusing to let my mother-in-law move in with us after she lost her home, even though we have a spare room?"
Oh.
So that's probably why the mother-in-law hates her. But there is an update. Hey everyone, wanted to update from my previous post. Well, today things finally came to a head. I woke up early for an appointment only to find Linda's car parked in my driveway again, blocking me in.
What?
My husband had already left for work, so I knocked on her door and waited for about 15 minutes. But there was no answer. I even tried calling her, but her phone went straight to voicemail. I was running late and completely fed up, so I called a towing company. They arrived quickly, and as they were hooking up her car, Linda stormed out of her house, furious. She yelled at me and the tow truck driver, calling me petty, claiming I could have just waited a bit longer or left a note.
Oh.
I calmly reminded her that I asked her multiple times to stop parking in my driveway, but she wasn't having it. She ended up paying the towing fee, and now she's absolutely livid. She's been telling her neighbors that I am a vindictive control freak, and a couple of them have hinted that I might have gone too far. Even my husband thinks I could have handled it differently and avoided escalating things. And of course, my mother-in-law, who was visiting today, had to chime in one of her usual subtle digs. As we were sitting down for lunch, she casually remarked, "Some people just can't manage conflict like adults." Pretty sure she wasn't talking about Linda. So now, Linda glares at me every time she sees me, my husband is annoyed about the neighborhood drama, and my mother-in-law is treating this like it's my personal failure. I still think I was justified, but I'll admit the fallout is a lot to deal with. Just wanted to keep you all updated, and thanks everyone for their advice on the last post.
Bro, your neighbors? I would love to see them. They should offer to park in their driveways.
Yeah, let Linda park her car, block her from going to freaking work.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, 15 minutes? She rang the doorbell and waited for 15 minutes? Buddy, you got 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I come over, I ring the doorbell, you don't answer within 30 seconds, I'm walking back and calling the tow truck.
I wouldn't have even given her the opportunity to move it. I would have immediately just called the tow company.
Wow.
You're blocking me in? Come on. I've told you a million fucking times not to park here, and now you're blocking me in? That is crazy. That means you had to have parked your car right behind me, like knowing that I'm there.
Yeah.
What do you mean? There's no chance I would have even rung her doorbell.
The situation for me with the doorbell, if I'm trying to get to work, quickest way is she moves her car. If I'm just going out grocery shopping and I come out and she's blocked me out, boom,
that's
tow
true.
truck.
It depends where you need to be.
If I'm in a rush, I need to get somewhere,
Yeah.
okay, the fastest resolution is if you move your car.
That is true.
The slower resolution is tow truck. If I'm not in a rush, tow truck. If I'm in a rush, I'm going to knock on your door.
But I'm not knocking on your door for your benefit.
No, I'm
not
doing it
doing
for me. I'm doing
Yeah.
it for me. If I come out again and I'm not in a rush, tow truck. If I'm in a rush, I'm going to ask you to move it.
Everyone else in your family sucks. Your husband, your mother-in-law. Your husband needs to put your mother-in-law in her place.
Yeah, that sucks. That sounds rough.
I wonder why she didn't want to live with you.
Right? That sounds really rough. Oh, man. Oh,
This is a heated one.
Neighbors, get your blood boiling.
Yeah.
Whoo-wee. Some neighbor issues.
Alrighty, we got through quite a bit stories, quite a bit.
Yeah, I got through quite a bit of them. On to Q&A.
Sounds good.
Someone, or the comment section, someone says, I've been enjoying the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Recommended. Have you heard of that one?
No. What's
Check it out.
Mist?
Mistborn.
Like Missed? Mistborn?
V? Did you say V?
Missed.
Oh, no. Mist. M-I-S-T.
Mistborn?
Yep.
B-O-R-N-E?
One word. No E.
Mistborn.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying it as like 2 words. Mistborn.
It is 2 words put together. Well,
Epic fantasy novels by the American author. It's a fantasy series.
Yeah.
Good.
Add that to your list.
Alrighty.
Next comment. Inheritance Cycle, Aragon, is my favorite series. Have you read the Murtaugh book? I've not read that one yet since I read the books back in high school. That's my kind of fan right there. Aragon fan. That's what's up. Aragon Club.
Nice.
And yes, I have read that book. Teresa needs to get me the hard copy version for a present. So
Oh.
add that to your list. I listened to the audiobook version, but I have all of the Aragon books, hard copies. It's the only books that I have. I keep them in my nightstand. I'm not going to be able to bring those in the RV.
No, but
I'm
we
going
can still keep them.
I'm going to have to pack those up. I'm going to have to pack up my nightstand.
Yeah.
Sad. Oh, man.
Rip.
Yeah. R.I.P. Next comment. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate. Oh, that was so boring. Why did I just say that?
Boring. What?
I didn't even give it a second thought. Okay, no. It depends. Like if I'm in Canada and I'm going to an ice cream shop, I'm probably going to get something of a chocolate variety.
Let me give you
If
some.
I'm in
Hold
Italy-
on. Let me give you some situations.
Uh-huh.
All right. We're in Italy. We go into a gelato. We go into a gelato mart. Gelato store. Ice cream
Gelato.
shop. Gelato shop.
Yeah.
What are you getting?
Okay. It depends. Because if I'm in South Italy, when I went to Sicily, they had watermelon. And that's all I would get in Sicily was watermelon. It was so freaking good. If I'm anywhere else, I'm getting a mix of pistachio and lemon. Or pistachio and Nutella.
Okay. Good answer.
I'm salivating at the thought of that. Wow.
We're getting a gelato cart on our.
We're
for our
getting a
wedding.
gelato cart for the wedding. And it's going to be in, I think, a day before and a day after. So we're going to get it for like a few days at the villa.
Yeah. I think it's 3 days.
I'm so pumped.
I like strawberry.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to ask you.
For gelato.
Oh, strawberry's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say we're just in North America and we walk into like an ice cream shop. What are you getting?
An ice cream shop? Well, it depends. I feel like they all have different stuff. I love a good cookie dough, a classic cookie dough.
Right.
Um,
I like the bubble gum cotton candy ones.
Oh, you do.
From like a kid.
You're
yeah,
like
I
a-
just
like a
the kid
child.
ones. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
the ones that have little gum pieces in them.
yeah.
What about Dairy Queen? Go to Dairy Queen. What are you getting?
Cookie dough usually. I usually get
Yeah.
the cookie dough and Reese's.
Yeah,
it?
I usually get the cookie dough and the Reese's Buttercup.
Yeah.
But what did we get last time we went to Dairy Queen?
Oh, we got the cheesecake one.
No,
Strawberry cheesecake.
We just strawberry and cookie dough. Not the cheese, not strawberry
You're
cheesecake.
right.
just
Strawberry cookie dough.
Strawberry cookie dough. It was
Yeah.
actually it was good. Strawberry cookie dough was a vibe.
Yeah.
It was a unique vibe.
Yeah.
We go to the grocery store. What are we getting from the frozen ice cream section?
Okay. Either. Both Haagen-Dazs. Haagen-Dazs, cookie dough, Dynamo.
Fuck yeah, best ice cream you can get from a grocery store.
Or
Or
the mango sorbet one.
yeah, raspberry mango.
Raspberry mango.
Number 2 choice for Haagen-Dazs.
That one's so good.
So good. So good.
Those are my choices.
Yeah. Do you remember that time
Love
that
that
we
question.
remember that time that we were in Barcelona and we got Domino's pizza?
Oh yeah, and it came with
And
Ben and Jerry's.
You could order a thing of Ben and Jerry's with
Yeah.
it. And then
they
when
have
we
that
went,
in Europe.
do they?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was Europe.
Yeah.
Spain.
Like, but just not just in Barcelona. They have it. I remember when I was living in the Netherlands
Yeah.
and we ordered food.
But what happened? Do you remember what happened that time? It was very
They
special.
gave us an extra one.
They gave us
It was very special.
2 things of Ben and Jerry's
Yeah,
cookie
they
dough.
did. Oh, that was
great.
Score.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Love ice cream.
Yep.
Great comment.
Yeah, it was a good comment. Yeah, that was good. That was nice. I like that. So I fuck want some ice cream now.
Me too.
Fuck yeah. You got any life updates? We don't have too much.
We're gonna be on Reddit on Wiki tomorrow.
Oh yeah. That would have already happened.
I don't know if
I don't know when
it's coming out,
but
yeah, we're filming it tomorrow. I'm very excited. A little bit nervous. It's our first collab. I'm actually so nervous. Not gonna lie. But yeah, we feel very honored.
Yes, thank you, Reddit on
that
Wiki.
we were given this opportunity.
I hope it went well.
So if it has aired already at this point, head on over to their page and check us out.
Yeah.
And if you are here because of the collab, welcome.
Welcome. Hope you enjoyed.
What else?
We ordered Starlink.
Yes, we did.
I was just checking because I don't want to get anything too early because, you know, July is our go time, or end of June is our go time after we come back from the wedding and we basically start a whole new life. People come back from their honeymoon and they start a new life. They move in together. They buy a house and stuff like that. What did Denver and Teresa do? Move into an RV and they start traveling full time. So
we've already been living together for 5.5 years.
We need to mix it up, change it up.
Yeah.
Change the game. But I ordered my Starlink and I was keeping an eye on the Starlink website, and they have like standard kit, mini kit, high performance kit. I realized that we need the high performance kit because Teresa has to do Zoom calls. So internet is priority for us. So we got the high performance kit, and then I went online and the high performance kit wasn't there. I was like, wait, what happened? So I think they just ran out of inventory on their high performance kit. So they cut it from the website for the time being instead of saying like back order. So then I was panicking, but then I found it on Best Buy. So I ordered it from Best Buy, and you know, we got it. It's ready.
It's huge.
It's a huge dish.
It's ginormous.
Yeah, it's pretty big. But on this one, compared to the standard one, I'll just perma mount it on top of the RV, and we might even have Wi-Fi while I was driving down the road. Like apparently it works with like in motion and stuff. So
could be cool.
We'll be set. We'll be set for internet.
I guess I don't remember if I already mentioned this, but my work has approved me 60 days out of the province. So
we're going to Banff.
We're going to Banff, and
we booked the Banff. We're doing a week in the Lake Louise National Park area.
Wait, 2 weeks.
2 weeks in the Lake Louise area. 1 week in the main Banff town, and we're gonna do Kelowna before that. And I booked Tobermory and for the end of June. I think we already mentioned that. Then I booked Ivanhoe National Park in Ontario. So right now, our plan is do a week in Tobermory. We stay at Madison's driveway for a week for Andrew's birthday. We go to a moto park dirt bike facility for a week so I can ride the dirt bike a little bit since we're going to have that. And then we start heading up to Northern Ontario. And then we leave Northern Ontario and we start heading across Manitoba and Saskatchewan and Alberta, and we get into BC. And then we're only able to book Banff for like later in September.
Our original plan was to do it in August. Do Banff, do Alberta first.
Yeah, and then go to
and then BC.
Yeah, but then the way that the bookings,
everything's booked.
I think we're a bit more restricted because of how long our trailer is. We have to book one of the longest campsites available.
Huge.
So everything was booked up. So we had to like adjust the timing for it. So yeah,
it worked out though. We still got a spot.
We got a spot.
September though.
So we're gonna be doing 3 weeks in Banff.
I'm so excited for that.
2 weeks in Kelowna. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And then just touring everywhere else. The rest will be kind of sporadic, 5 days at a time, a week at a time.
Yeah.
I don't want to have too long of travel days. But
I agree. Especially with the cats.
Yeah.
Don't want to be traveling for too long.
Yeah. And my preference would be like, we do like a 2-hour travel day every like 5 days or something would be cool for me. I downloaded like Harvest Hosts, and they allow you to like stay up free for places for like 5 days. So I would just like to hop around all the Harvest Hosts that are available. So yeah, I'm in the crutched zone. We're 2 weeks out today from RV delivery, essentially. And then
by the time this comes out, we'll have...
Yeah, by the time this comes out, we'll have taken delivery of the RV. We're going to place it down on my farm's property. Then I'll be able to install the solar system. Like I said, Teresa just wants electricity to work like we're living at home. So I need to do a really beefy solar system with a generator backup. Found a steal of a deal, $250 for like a $5,000 generator. because the dude had never installed it in his trailer, couldn't verify that it runs. Technically, it doesn't run, but it turns over. So hopefully I can get it running, get it set up, and then we can basically have like auto start. So if it's not a sunny day, the batteries get depleted, generator automatically starts up, so the cats will never not have AC.
Of course.
And we'll have
Main
a
priority.
nice beefy system so that Teresa can blow dry her hair while the AC is on. That's what
Luxury.
That's what Teresa wants. So we need a nice beefy, hopefully 2,500 watt solar system, 6,000 watt inverter system, 10 kilowatt hour battery bank. Teresa has no idea what those numbers mean, but beefy. They sound big, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate all you guys' support. Don't forget, we got a lot of leftover stories, so we're going to hit those up on the Patreon bonus episodes. I had 4 stories left over. So we'll catch you guys on Patreon. Smash the like button, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and we appreciate your support. And yeah, we'll see you next week, or we'll see you on Patreon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me.
You good? You good?
Yes.
Our cock. Yeah.
Our cock.
Our cock.